Captain Tejo stood on the bridge of the Horizon's Promise, watching the alien station grow larger on the viewing screen. His heart beat faster, but his face remained calm. This was humanity's first meeting with the Velkari Empire, and everything had to go perfectly. "Distance to station?" he asked. 2,000 kilometers, Captain, replied Jinwoo, his second-in-command. The younger officer looked nervous. Everyone on the bridge was nervous. First contact missions always carried risk. Hana, the communications officer, turned in her chair. "Captain, we're receiving their docking instructions. They want us to approach the southern bay." "Follow their instructions exactly," Tejo said. "Let's show them humans can follow protocols." The ship moved slowly toward the massive Velkari station. It was built from dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Strange symbols covered its surface. The station was 10 times larger than anything humans had built in space. The Velkari had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Humans had only left their solar system 80 years ago. Tejo checked his uniform one last time. He wore the dark blue dress uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. On his chest, the Earth flag patch showed his homeworld. He had practiced the greeting phrases in the Velkari language for months. This meeting would open trade routes that could benefit both civilizations. The ship docked with a soft thud. Tejo gathered his diplomatic team. Jinwoo would stay on the ship to monitor the situation. Hana and 2 security officers would accompany Tejo to the meeting. "Remember," Tejo told his team, "we're here as friends. Be polite, be respectful. Observe their customs." The airlock opened. Cold air rushed in, carrying strange scents. Tejo stepped through first. The Velkari station was dimly lit. The walls were smooth and cold. 6 Velkari guards stood waiting. They were tall, nearly 3 meters high, with forearms and skin like gray stone. Their eyes glowed faintly red. "Welcome, humans," one said in perfect English. The translation technology worked well. "Follow us. Ambassador Thros awaits." They walked through corridors that curved in odd ways. Other Velkari stopped to stare at the humans. Some pointed. Others made sounds that might have been laughter. Tejo kept his expression friendly but neutral. The meeting chamber was huge. At the far end, on a raised platform, sat Ambassador Thros. He was even larger than the guards, his skin decorated with golden patterns. Around him stood dozens of Velkari officials. Tejo walked forward. He had studied Velkari customs. The proper greeting was to bow slightly and speak words of respect. He stopped at what he thought was the appropriate distance and bowed. "Ambassador Thros," he said clearly, "I bring greetings from Earth and humanity. We come in peace, seeking friendship and mutual benefit." A strange silence filled the room. The Velkari officials looked at each other. Some made clicking sounds with their mouths. Ambassador Thros rose slowly from his seat. His forearms spread wide. "You stand?" Thros's voice was deep and angry. "You stand before me?" Tejo felt confusion wash over him. "Ambassador, I meant no—" "Silence!" Thros's roar echoed through the chamber. "In our empire, lesser beings kneel before their superiors. You come to our station, you follow our laws. You stand before royalty. This is an insult. This is a crime." Tejo's mind raced. His research had mentioned nothing about kneeling. "Ambassador, please, this is a misunderstanding. In human culture, we stand as equals when meeting." "I did not mean disrespect." "Equals?" Thros stepped down from the platform. Each footstep was heavy. "You are children playing with spaceships. Your species has barely left its planet. You think you can stand equal to an empire of 17 star systems?" Hana whispered urgently, "Captain, we should leave." But the guards had moved. They now blocked the exits. Tejo felt his stomach tighten. This was going very wrong, very fast. "Ambassador Thros," Tejo kept his voice steady. "I apologize for any offense. Our cultures are different. Let me kneel now and we can restart this meeting properly." "Too late," Thros said. His red eyes seemed to burn. "You have shown disrespect. The law is clear. You will be arrested, you will stand trial, and you will be executed as an example to all species who approach the Velkari Empire without proper respect." "No," Hana shouted. The security officers reached for their weapons, but Velkari guards were faster. Energy weapons appeared in their hands, pointing at the humans. Tejo raised his hands. "Don't fight. That's an order." He looked at his team. "Go back to the ship. Tell Earth what happened here." "Captain, we can't leave you." Jinwoo's voice came through the communication device. "That's an order, Lieutenant Commander. Take the ship home. Tell them everything. The guards grabbed Taiho. Their grip was like iron. They pulled his arms behind his back and placed metal restraints on his wrists. The metal was cold and tight. Thros addressed Hana and the security team. You will return to your ship. You will leave our space. You will tell your Earth government that Captain Taiho will be tried according to Velkari law. In 30 days we will execute him. We will broadcast it across our empire. All species will see what happens to those who disrespect the Velkari. Hana's eyes filled with tears. Please, there must be another way. There is no other way. Your captain chose his fate when he stood before me. Now go before I arrest all of you. The guards forced Hana and the others back toward the airlock. Taiho watched them go. He wanted to appear brave, but fear twisted inside him. He was going to die on this alien station, far from Earth, far from his family. As the airlock sealed, Taiho caught one last glimpse of Hana's face. She looked devastated. Then the door closed. Thros turned to Taiho. Take him to the holding cells. Make sure he understands the price of his arrogance. The guards dragged Taiho away. The corridors seemed darker now. Other Velkari watched as he passed. Some made approving sounds. The human who stood before royalty was finally being taught his place. They threw him into a cell. The door sealed with a heavy sound. Taiho sat on the cold floor and closed his eyes. He had failed his mission. He had failed his crew. He had failed Earth, but he did not know that his capture would start something much larger than himself. He did not know that Earth was about to show the galaxy exactly what happened when you touched one of their own. The Horizon's promise turned and began its long journey home. In its computer banks, it carried recordings of everything that happened, the evidence that would change the galaxy forever. On Earth, in 30 days, people would learn that Captain Taiho had been captured. They would see the broadcasts of his execution order, and then they would show the ancient Velkari Empire something they had never encountered before, the fury of humanity protecting its own. Admiral Hyunwoo stood before the United Earth Council. The emergency meeting had been called 6 hours after the Horizon's promise returned home. Every council member's face showed the same emotion, shock and anger. The recording played on the large screen. Everyone watched as the Velkari guard seized Captain Taiho. They watched Ambassador Thros declare the execution. They watched Hana crying as she was forced to leave her captain behind. When the recording ended, silence filled the council chamber. They took him, Council President Daehyun said quietly. They took one of our people. Admiral Hyunwoo had served in Earth's military for 35 years. He had seen wars between human nations before Earth unified. He had commanded ships in small conflicts against space pirates. But this was different. This was an alien empire declaring that human life meant nothing. Mr. President, members of the council. Hyunwoo's voice was steady but hard. The Velkari have crossed a line. They arrested our diplomat for a cultural misunderstanding. They plan to execute him in 30 days. This is not justice. This is murder. Councilmember Soman leaned forward. What did they want? Have they made demands? Perhaps we can negotiate. They want nothing, Hyunwoo said. They see this as teaching the galaxy a lesson. Captain Taiho will die as a warning to other species. Then we must act diplomatically, said another council member. Send our best negotiators. Offer compensation. President Daehyun looked at Admiral Hyunwoo. What does the military recommend? Hyunwoo took a breath. He knew his next words would change everything. I recommend we mobilize the entire fleet. Every ship. Every soldier. We go to Velkari space and we bring Captain Taiho home. The council chamber erupted. Half the members shouted agreement. The other half protested. That's war, someone yelled. We barely know these aliens, another said. They are ancient and powerful. We would lose. President Daehyun raised his hand. Silence returned slowly. Admiral, please explain your reasoning. Hyunwoo walked to the screen. He touched a control and a star map appeared. The Velkari Empire controls 17 star systems. They have been in space for thousands of years. Their technology is advanced. Their military is strong, he paused. But they made one critical mistake. They assumed we would do nothing. They assumed human life is cheap. They assumed wrong. He changed the display. Now it showed Earth's military assets. 400 warships, thousands of fighters, Marines trained for combat, weapons developed over decades of technological advancement. We have spent 80 years expanding into space, Hyunwoo continued. We built these ships not for war but for protection. We hoped we would never need them. But Earth has always had one rule: we protect our own. If we abandon Captain Tejo, what message does that send? That anyone can capture humans and we will do nothing? Councilmember Soman spoke again. But Admiral, even if we fight, thousands could die. Is one life worth thousands? Yes, Hyunwoo said simply. Because if we don't fight now, if we show weakness, more humans will be captured. More will die. The galaxy needs to learn that touching a human has consequences. Severe consequences, President Daehyun stood. Before we make this decision, we try diplomacy. Ambassador Minji, contact the Velkari Empire. Offer them anything they want for Tejo's safe return. Ambassador Minji was Earth's most skilled diplomat. She had negotiated successful agreements with 4 alien species. Over the next week, she tried everything. She offered technology. She offered trade agreements worth billions. She offered a formal apology from Earth's government. She promised humans would kneel in future meetings if that was required. The Velkari response was always the same. No, the execution would proceed. It would be broadcast across their empire in 23 days. In the military headquarters, Admiral Hyunwoo did not wait. He began moving pieces into place. Station Commander Sohee oversaw the gathering of the fleet. Ships returned from patrol routes. Soldiers boarded transports. Weapons were loaded. Supplies were gathered. Dr. Yuna, Earth's leading weapons researcher, came to Hyunwoo's office. She carried a data tablet. Admiral, I have something that might help. She activated the tablet. Designs appeared. We've been studying the Velkari for years. We stole some of their technical data. I know how their shields work. I know their weaknesses. Hyunwoo looked at the designs. You built weapons specifically to fight them? We built weapons to fight any advanced species, Yuna said. Just in case. These plasma torpedoes burn hot enough to overload their shields. These kinetic rounds move fast enough to punch through. And this, she highlighted another design, is an electronic warfare package that can shut down their targeting systems. How many can you build in 3 weeks? Enough to equip the entire fleet, Yuna smiled, but it was not a happy smile. We've been preparing for this possibility. We hoped it would never happen. But humans learned a long time ago. Hope for peace, prepare for war. Across Earth and its colonies, people watched the news. They saw Captain Taiho's face. They heard his story. They learned about the Velkari threat. Anger grew like fire. Volunteers flooded military recruitment centers. We want to fight, they said. We want to bring him home. Taiho's family appeared on broadcasts. His mother spoke with tears in her eyes. My son went to make peace. They arrested him for standing. Please bring him home. The council met again. Ambassador Minji reported her failure. They will not negotiate. The execution is in 20 days. President Daehyun looked tired. He had not slept much. Admiral Hyunwoo, is the fleet ready? Yes, Mr. President. What are our chances? Unknown. But I guarantee we will not quit until Captain Taiho is home or we are all dead. The council voted. It was not unanimous, but the majority agreed. Earth would go to war. President Daehyun addressed the world that night. Billions watched. My fellow humans, he said, the Velkari Empire has taken one of our people. They plan to kill him for a misunderstanding. They think we will accept this. They think we will be afraid. They are wrong. Today, Earth mobilizes for war. We will cross the galaxy. We will face an ancient empire. And we will bring Captain Taiho home. Because that is who we are. We are humans. We never leave our people behind. The fleet departed 3 days later. 400 ships rose from Earth and its colonies. They formed up in space, a metal wall of human determination. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Fury. Set course for Velkari space, he ordered. Maximum speed. And broadcast this message on all frequencies. Return Captain Taiho unharmed or we will burn your empire to ash. The journey would take 14 days. The Velkari had 17 days until the scheduled execution. It would be close. In his cell on the Velkari station, Taiho did not know any of this. He sat in darkness counting down his last days. The guards beat him sometimes. They wanted him broken and afraid for the broadcast. But Taiho stayed strong. If he was going to die, he would die with dignity. He did not know that 400 warships were crossing space to save him. He did not know Earth had chosen war over abandoning him. He did not know that the galaxy was about to witness what humans do when you hurt one of their own. The clock was ticking. The fleet was coming. And the Velkari Empire had no idea what was about to hit them. The human fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Velkari space. 400 ships appeared on Velkari sensors like ghosts, suddenly becoming real. Alarm systems activated across 3 star systems. On the Velkari military command station, officers stared at their screens in disbelief. "How many ships?" the commander asked. 400, sir. All human vessels. They are broadcasting a message. Admiral Hyunwoo's voice played across Velkari communication channels. It was calm but carried the weight of absolute certainty. "Velkari Empire, this is Admiral Hyunwoo of Earth. You are holding Captain Taeho, a human diplomat. You plan to execute him. This is unacceptable. Return him to us unharmed within 12 hours, or we will dismantle your empire star by star. This is your only warning." In the Velkari capital, Ambassador Thros received the message. He laughed. The sound echoed through his office. "Humans threaten us? Children who barely understand space travel threaten the Velkari Empire." He turned to his military advisor. "Send the Third Fleet, destroy them. Show these creatures the price of threatening their superiors." The Velkari Third Fleet was massive. 100 warships, each built over decades, each equipped with weapons that had destroyed rebellion fleets before. They moved toward the human position with confidence. This would be over quickly. Captain Jinwoo stood on the bridge of his ship, the Redemption. After returning without Taeho, he had requested transfer to a combat vessel. Now he watched the Velkari fleet approach. "All ships, this is Admiral Hyunwoo." The voice came through communications. "They have chosen war. Dr. Yuna's weapons are loaded. Target their shield generators first. Show them what happens when they take our people." The 2 fleets met near a small planet called Kelvar. The Velkari fired first. Energy beams lanced across space. Human ships scattered, moving faster than the Velkari expected. Their targeting computers struggled to lock on. Then the humans returned fire. The first plasma torpedo hit a Velkari cruiser. The ship's shields flared bright blue, then shattered. The torpedo continued through, burning a hole in the ship's hull. The cruiser exploded. The Velkari commander could not believe what he was seeing. How did they break our shields? Another human weapon hit a different ship. This time it was a kinetic round. A piece of metal accelerated to incredible speed. It punched through the Velkari armor like paper. The ship split in half. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," the Velkari commander ordered. But human ships were everywhere. They moved in coordinated patterns. 3 or 4 ships targeting each Velkari vessel. Electronic warfare packages activated, scrambling Velkari targeting systems. Missiles and torpedoes filled space. Jinwoo's ship fired its main weapons. He watched the shots hit a Velkari destroyer. The enemy ship tried to turn, but human fighters swarmed it, their smaller weapons cutting into critical systems. The destroyer went dark and started drifting. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Velkari Third Fleet was destroyed. Burning wreckage floated in space. A few Velkari ships had escaped, running back to their home systems with news of the disaster. Human casualties, 0 ships destroyed, minimal damage to hull plating. Across the galaxy, other species monitored the battle. They had been watching to see if humanity could back up their threats. Now they knew. Intelligence agencies scrambled to update their assessments of human military capability. On the Velkari capital world, Ambassador Thros received the battle report. His 4 hands shook. "Impossible. Our Third Fleet was destroyed?" "Yes, Ambassador. The humans have weapons we have never seen. Their tactics are inefficient, brutal." Thros felt something he had not felt in decades, fear. But pride would not let him show it. "Then we move the human prisoner to Velkara Prime. Increase security. Accelerate the execution. We will broadcast it in 5 days instead of waiting." The news reached Admiral Hyunwoo. He stood on the bridge of the Eternal Fury looking at star maps. Captain Jinwoo and Commander Do-hyun joined him by video link. "They are moving Taeho to their capital," Hyunwoo said. "They think it will be safer there." "They are wrong." "What are your orders, Admiral?" Do-hyun asked. His battle group had just finished destroying a Velkari supply depot. "We split the fleet," Hyunwoo said. "Do-hyun, take Battle Group Alpha through the northern systems. Destroy every military station, every weapons platform, every shipyard. Yoonji, take Battle Group Beta through the core systems. Do the same. I will take Battle Group Omega straight to Velkara Prime." "What about civilians?" Jinwoo asked. "We are not murderers," Hyunwoo said firmly. "We target only military assets. Broadcast warnings to civilian populations. Give them time to evacuate. But anything that can support their war effort gets destroyed." They wanted to show the galaxy what happens when you disrespect them. We will show the galaxy what happens when you touch a human. Over the next 3 weeks, the human fleet tore through Velkari space like a storm. Commander Do-Yun's battle group hit 4 star systems in the north. Orbital defense platforms that had stood for centuries were reduced to debris. Shipyards that built the Velkari fleet became floating ruins. Wing Commander Yunji led her forces through the core systems. The Velkari tried to defend their industrial worlds, but human weapons were too effective. Human tactics were too good. Every battle ended the same way. Velkari defeat, human victory. News of the human rampage spread. The Velkari called their allies. The Hrokan Confederacy and the Trell Dominion answered. They were old friends of the Velkari Empire. Together they sent over 600 warships to stop the humans. The Battle of 3 Fleets happened in the Macron Nebula. 180 human ships faced 600 alien vessels. The odds seemed impossible. Admiral Hyunwoo addressed his fleet before the battle. "We are outnumbered. We might not all survive. But Captain Taiho is still a prisoner. Earth is counting on us. Our families are watching. Show these aliens that humans do not quit. Show them that we will pay any price to protect our own." The battle was the bloodiest yet. It lasted 2 full days. The nebula's gases glowed from explosions. Ships burned. People died on both sides. But human coordination was perfect. Human weapons were superior. And human determination was absolute. When the battle ended, the Allied fleet was shattered. Over 400 alien ships were destroyed or disabled. The humans lost 47 ships. It was humanity's first significant casualties, but it was still a devastating victory. The surviving alien ships retreated. They carried a message back to their governments. Do not interfere with the humans. They fight like demons. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Junho led a special operations team on a dangerous mission. 12 humans in stealth armor dropped onto Velkara Prime from orbit. They moved through the capital city unseen, using advanced technology to avoid Velkari sensors. Their mission: find Captain Taiho's exact location. It took them 3 days of careful movement. They planted listening devices. They hacked Velkari computers. They gathered intelligence. Finally, Junho transmitted coordinates back to the fleet. Target acquired. Imperial Palace, Sublevel 3, Cell Block 7. He's alive. Beaten but alive. Come get him. Admiral Hyunwoo looked at the coordinates. The Velkari capital was the most heavily defended world in their empire. Millions of soldiers. Thousands of defense platforms. It would be the hardest battle yet. All ships, he ordered. Set course for Velkara Prime, maximum speed. In his cell, Taiho sat against the wall. His face was bruised. His body hurt. The guards had been rough with him. They brought news of the human victories, trying to break his spirit. "Your fleet is coming to die," they told him. "They will burn in our skies. You will watch them die before we kill you." But Taiho smiled through broken teeth. "You don't understand. They are not coming to die. They are coming to win, because that is what humans do. We never leave our people behind." The guards laughed and left him in darkness. But Taiho was not afraid anymore. He could feel it somehow. Help was coming. Earth had not abandoned him. Above Velkara Prime, defense systems activated. The largest battle of the war was about to begin, and Captain Taiho would finally learn what Earth had done for him. The human fleet emerged above Velkara Prime like a metal storm. 133 warships, scarred from weeks of battle, faced the most defended world in the Velkari Empire. Ambassador Thros watched from his tower in the Imperial Palace. He saw the human ships on the viewing screens. Despite everything, despite losing battle after battle, he still believed the Velkari would win here. This was their home. This was their heart. "Activate all defenses," he ordered. "Every platform, every weapon, send up every fighter we have. The humans will not take this world." In space, thousands of defense platforms powered up. Orbital stations bristled with weapons. The Velkari home fleet, over 200 ships kept to protect the capital, moved into position. Fighter craft launched in swarms that darkened the sky. Admiral Hyunwoo stood calmly on his bridge. He had fought through 17 star systems to reach this moment. 47 ships lost, thousands of humans dead, all for one man. Some might say it was too much. Hyunwoo believed it was exactly enough. All ships begin assault pattern Omega. Target their defense platforms first. Marines, prepare for planetary assault. We are bringing Captain Taiho home today. The battle began. Energy beams crossed space in every direction. The Velkari threw everything they had at the human fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness. Human ships took hits, shields flaring bright. But they kept coming, kept firing, kept pushing forward. Dr. Yuna's weapons proved their worth again. Plasma torpedoes overloaded Velkari shields. Kinetic rounds punched through armor. Electronic warfare packages confused targeting systems. One by one, the orbital platforms exploded. The Velkari home fleet tried to form a defensive wall, but human tactics were too refined. Small groups of human ships worked together, surrounding and destroying larger Velkari vessels. It was like watching wolves hunt creatures that had never faced predators before. On the planet's surface, Assault Commander Sung Hoon led 3,000 Marines. They boarded drop pods, small armored craft designed to punch through atmosphere under fire. Sung Hoon checked his armor seals one final time. "Listen up," he told his troops over the communication network. "We are going down to hell. Half of us might not come back, but there is a human down there who has been waiting for us. Captain Taiho has been beaten, starved, and threatened for weeks. He has not broken because he knows his people would come for him. We are his people. We do not fail. We do not quit. We bring him home." The drop pods launched. They fell through space like metal rain. Velkari anti-aircraft weapons fired constantly. Some pods were hit and exploded. Others were damaged but kept falling. Most made it through. The pods hit the ground around the Imperial Palace. Doors blew off. Marines poured out, weapons ready. Velkari guards were waiting. The ground battle began immediately. Sung Hoon's pod landed in the palace courtyard. He saw Velkari soldiers running toward him. He opened fire with his plasma rifle. The shots hit the stone-skinned aliens, burning through their armor. Other Marines landed around him. Together they pushed forward. The palace was huge, a structure built over thousands of years. But Lieutenant Junho's intelligence was perfect. The Marines knew exactly where to go. They fought through corridors. Velkari guards defended every room, every hallway. The battle was brutal and close. Above them, the space battle raged on. Another defense platform exploded. Another Velkari ship burned. Admiral Hyunwoo's fleet was winning, but the cost was high. 3 more human ships were destroyed. Thousands more humans died. But they did not retreat. They never considered retreating. Sung Hoon reached sub-level 3. His armor was scorched and dented. 10 of his Marines were dead. 20 more were wounded. But they were close. Cell Block 7 was ahead. Elite Velkari guards defended the cell block. These were the Emperor's personal warriors, the best soldiers in their empire. They wore heavy armor and carried powerful weapons. They would not surrender. The firefight lasted 9 minutes. It was the most intense combat Sung Hoon had ever experienced. Marines fell. Guards fell. The corridor filled with smoke and blood. But humans kept pushing. Always forward. Never back. Finally, the last guard fell. Sung Hoon ran to the cell door. He placed a breaching charge on the lock. The explosion echoed through the corridor. The door fell open. Inside, sitting against the wall, was Captain Taiho. He looked up, squinting in the sudden light. His face was bruised and swollen. His uniform was torn and dirty. But he was alive, Captain Taiho. Sung Hoon's voice was gentle despite the battle rage. "Earth sent us to bring you home." Taiho stared at the armored figure. For a moment, he could not speak. Then tears ran down his face. "You came. You actually came." "Of course we came," Sung Hoon said, helping Taiho stand. "We are humans. We never leave our people behind." They moved quickly through the palace. More Velkari soldiers tried to stop them. Marines formed a protective circle around Taiho. They fought their way back to the surface. 18 Marines died protecting their captain. They considered it the highest honor. At the extraction point, a dropship waited. It was under heavy fire from Velkari forces. Sung Hoon got Taiho inside, then turned to provide covering fire. The dropship lifted off, engines screaming. In space, Admiral Hyunwoo received the message. "Package secured. Captain Taiho is safe." Hyunwoo closed his eyes for a moment. They had done it. Against an ancient empire, against overwhelming odds, humanity had rescued one of their own. "All ships," he broadcast. "Captain Taiho is recovered. Begin withdrawal. Mission accomplished." But before they left, Hyunwoo made one final broadcast. It went out across all Velkari frequencies. Every ship, every station, every home on Velkara Prime received it. "Velkari Empire, this is Admiral Hyunwoo. We came in peace. We sent a diplomat to talk. You arrested him for standing. You beat him. You planned to execute him as entertainment. We asked for his return. You refused. So we came and took him back. We have destroyed your third fleet. We have destroyed your allies' fleets. We have ruined 17 star systems worth of military infrastructure. We have broken the spine of your empire. All for one man, one human life. Hyunwoo paused, letting his words sink in. Remember this. Remember Captain Taiho. Remember that humanity values every single one of its people. Touch a human and you touch all of humanity. We will cross the galaxy. We will fight any enemy. We will pay any price. Because that is who we are. The human fleet began its withdrawal. Behind them, Velkara Prime burned. Not the cities or the people, but every military installation on the planet. The Velkari Empire was broken. On the flagship in the medical bay, doctors treated Taiho's injuries. Admiral Hyunwoo visited him. Admiral, Taiho said weakly, how many did we lose? 47 ships. Over 12,000 humans dead? Taiho's face filled with pain. 12,000 people died for me? No, Hyunwoo said firmly. 12,000 people died for a principle. For the idea that human life matters, that we protect our own. You happen to be the one who needed protecting. It could have been any of us. And if it was any of us, the same fleet would have come. What happens now? Taiho asked. Now we go home. Now the galaxy learns that humanity is not to be trifled with. Now we make sure this never happens again. News of the victory reached Earth. Cities erupted in celebration. People cried and cheered. Captain Taiho was coming home. The fleet had won, but across the galaxy, other species watched quietly. They saw what humanity had done. They understood the message. An ancient empire had been humbled by newcomers who refused to abandon their people. Diplomatic channels opened. Dozens of alien species contacted Earth. They wanted treaties. They wanted trade agreements. They wanted to be friends with humanity, not enemies. The Velkari Empire collapsed within months. Without their military, without their infrastructure, the 17 star systems fractured into independent worlds. Some asked humanity for help rebuilding. Earth provided aid, but also left monitoring stations. A reminder, a warning. The human fleet began its long journey home, carrying their recovered captain and the memory of everyone who died to save him. The Eternal Fury entered Earth's solar system 3 weeks after the battle. The entire human fleet, scarred and battle-worn, returned home as heroes. Millions gathered to watch the ships arrive. Every screen across Earth and its colonies showed the same images. The fleet that had crossed the galaxy and won. Captain Taiho stood beside Admiral Hyunwoo on the bridge. His injuries were healing, but the bruises were still visible on his face. He watched Earth grow larger on the viewing screen. Home. He had thought he would never see it again. How do you feel? Hyunwoo asked. Taiho was quiet for a moment. Grateful. Guilty. 12,000 people died because of me. Not because of you, Hyunwoo corrected. Because of a principle. Because we are humans and we protect each other. Those 12,000 knew what they were fighting for. They volunteered. They believed in something bigger than themselves. The fleet docked at orbital stations. Crowds waited below. When Taiho's shuttle descended to Earth's surface, thousands of people cheered. News cameras captured everything. He stepped onto the landing pad and the sound was overwhelming. His mother pushed through the crowd. She was crying, running toward him. Taiho ran to meet her. They embraced, both weeping. His father was there too, and his younger sister. They held each other for a long time while the world watched. President Daehyun gave Taiho a week with his family before asking him to speak publicly. The address was scheduled for the main government hall. Every nation sent representatives. Every colony tuned in. Taiho stood at the podium. He wore his uniform, newly cleaned and repaired. The medals he earned before his capture were pinned to his chest. But he felt like a fraud. Heroes should not cause 12,000 deaths. He began speaking. His voice was steady but emotional. I am Captain Taiho. You all know my story. I was captured by the Velkari Empire. They beat me. They planned to execute me. I thought I would die alone on an alien station, forgotten. He paused, looking at the crowd. But Earth did not forget. Admiral Hyunwoo did not forget. 12,000 humans I never met did not forget. They crossed the galaxy. They fought battles against impossible odds. They died to bring me home. Taiho's voice broke slightly. I am one person. Just one human among billions. But Earth decided I was worth fighting for. Not because I am special. Not because I am important. But because I am human, because that is who we are, he took a breath. The galaxy watched what we did. They saw an ancient empire fall because they hurt one of us. Some species think we are monsters. Some think we overreacted. But I understand now what Admiral Hunwu tried to tell me. This was never just about saving me. This was about showing the galaxy who humanity is. Taiho looked directly into the cameras. We are a species that values every life. We believe every human matters. We will extend friendship to anyone who approaches us in peace. But touch one of us, threaten one of us, hurt one of us, and you face all of us. That is our promise. That is our warning. He stepped back from the podium. The crowd erupted in applause. It lasted for several minutes. Taiho saw faces in the crowd. Some were crying. Some were cheering. All of them understood what the war had meant. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. Alien species that had watched the war sent diplomatic missions to Earth. They came with respect now. Some came with fear. All came with a new understanding of humanity. Ambassador Minji met with dozens of alien diplomats. She negotiated treaties. She established trade agreements. She created cultural exchange programs. But every agreement had one clause that never changed. Harm to any human would result in immediate military response. No species argued. They had seen what happened to the Velkari. The Hrokan Confederacy sent an official apology. They withdrew their forces from the battle and offered compensation to human families who lost members. They wanted peace. The Trell Dominion did the same. Their leader personally visited Earth to meet with President Daehyun. We did not understand, the Trell leader said. We thought humans were like other species. We were wrong. We will not make that mistake again. Some younger alien civilizations saw humanity as heroes. A species that would fight for its people inspired them. They modeled their own militaries after human tactics. They studied human culture. They wanted to understand what made humans so willing to sacrifice for each other. Dr. Yuna's weapons became the standard for Earth's military. Other species tried to steal the technology, but human security was tight. Earth wanted to remain powerful enough that no one would dare threaten them again. Station Commander So-hee oversaw the rebuilding of the fleet. New ships were constructed to replace those lost. But monuments were built too. On every human world, memorials honored the 12,000 who died in the war. Their names were carved in stone. Their sacrifice was remembered. Captain Taiho requested to return to diplomatic service. Many people thought he should retire, enjoy peace after his ordeal. But Taiho disagreed. I was captured doing my job, he told Admiral Hyunwoo. I cannot let that stop me. Humanity needs diplomats now more than ever. The galaxy needs to see that we still want peace, that we prefer talking to fighting. Hyunwoo approved the request. Taiho returned to the diplomatic corps, but now he carried a different reputation. When he entered alien council chambers, there was always a moment of recognition. Diplomats looked at him and saw the man who started a war. The man for whom an empire fell. It made negotiations easier. No one wanted to offend him. No one wanted to risk angering humanity again. Years passed. The Velkari system slowly recovered. Human aid helped rebuild their infrastructure. But the empire never reformed. The 17 systems remained independent. Some became human allies. Others stayed isolated. All remembered what happened when they threatened Earth. Taiho eventually became Earth's chief diplomat. He negotiated peace treaties between alien species. He prevented wars. He built bridges between civilizations. His work saved countless lives across the galaxy. One day, an alien journalist interviewed him. She asked the question many species wondered about. Captain Taiho, do you think Earth's response was proportional? 12,000 humans died to save one. An empire fell for one arrest. Was it worth it? Taiho thought carefully before answering. Yes, because it was never just about me. It was about establishing a principle. Humanity had to show the galaxy that we mean what we say, that our values are not negotiable, that every human life has value and we will fight to protect that value. He leaned forward. The Velkari thought they could take me, kill me, and humanity would do nothing. They were wrong. Now every species knows. Humans protect their own. That knowledge has prevented wars. It has saved lives. It has created a galaxy where people think twice before threatening others, the journalist pressed. But the cost was high, Taiho agreed. 12,000 humans died. I think about them every day. I visit their memorials. I talk to their families. But I also think about all the humans who have not died because the galaxy learned its lesson. All the diplomats who work safely because everyone knows what happens if they are harmed. The cost was high, but it bought peace. Admiral Hyunwoo retired eventually. At his retirement ceremony, he said something that became famous across human space. We went to war not because we wanted to, but because we had to. We fought not because we enjoyed it, but because our principles demanded it. We killed not because we are violent, but because we are protective. That is the difference between humanity and the predators we faced. We fight for each other, not against others. And that makes all the difference. Decades later, the galaxy remained at peace. Not a perfect peace, but a stable one. Humanity continued to expand into space, continued to meet new species, continued to build friendships. But everyone remembered the lesson of Captain Taiho. Touch a human and you touch all of humanity. Cross that line, and humanity will burn the galaxy to bring their people home. It was not a threat. It was a promise. And it kept the peace better than any weapon ever could. On Earth, in the Hall of Heroes, a statue stands. It shows Captain Taiho in his diplomatic uniform standing tall despite his injuries. At the base, words are carved in stone. He was one. We were many. He was captured. We responded. They learned. The galaxy changed. Remember, we are human. We protect our own. Children learn the story in schools. New diplomats study it in training. Soldiers memorize it in boot camp. The tale of Captain Taiho and the war that saved him becomes legend. But more than legend, it becomes the foundation of humanity's place in the galaxy. A species that values every life. A species that never abandons its people. A species that will cross any distance and face any enemy to bring their own home. That is humanity's legacy. That is what the galaxy learned. And that is why, years later, when alien species speak of humans, they speak with respect.